Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be telling you about a story of the most notorious man of the 21st century. So this guy is said to come from one of the most peaceful religions out there in the world. Yes, he comes from Jainism. His name is XYZ Jain. I cannot take his name because he's a very influential, powerful person, and he comes behind whoever takes his name. It might be a YouTuber, a Instagrammer, a layman. If you take his name, you are gonna end up somewhere dead. So that is the whole concept or the whole aura surrounding this man. So yes, as I said, he comes from one of the most peaceful religious communities out there in the world. But he has committed one of the greatest genocide against women in our modern present day. So we remember the names like Hitler, Saddam Hussein, Benito Mussolini, who were famous for genocide or war-related killings or things like that. But this man particularly attacked women and attacked thousands of women and buried their bodies in and around his surroundings where he stayed. If you want to know who this man is, what his name is, what his background is, please do go through the Saujanya case, the Vedavali case, and also especially what is happening in Dharmasthala region in this current situation. If you're somebody who is watching from abroad, Dharmasthala is a place in Karnataka, India, and recently it has been famous for one of the most mass killings in modern times. So how did it all start? Long ago, it might be around the 1960s or the 1970s, the father of this powerful man, they are known as God man in local areas. So people see them as God because long ago, the father of this present man takes over a temple. It is not a temple related to the Jains, but it is a temple related to the Hindus. Yes, this temple was especially related to the worship of Lord Shiva. So when the father took over this temple, as days passed on, the empire grew. A lot of money started coming into this temple. A lot of people started visiting. The donations grew, and their power and their authority over this particular region grew. As days went by, his father demised and the son took over. So people still speculate that this was all started by his father, but there is no clarity. But this man who took over, his son, the God man, the present God man, is known for creating one of the most biggest atrocities against women. So it all started from that. After the 1980s, when this guy started gaining power, he took over this temple at Dharmasthala, and he started growing up the power ladder. As days went on, his expanse grew, and his brother, this godman's brother, also started to dominate. Together, they over the years from 1980 to 2012 committed a series of crimes. Even if you hear about the crime and the way they use this temple to create those crimes and to hide those crimes, you are going to get those goosebumps, and you are going to be scared to death. We think temple is a place of worship where we find peace and solace. It might be Jerusalem, it might be Mecca. When you go, you are going there for a better realization of yourself and feeling of that protected energy from that divine energy. But here what happened? When people who went to visit the temple or to take darshan or to see God's idol, if there are husband and wife when they are coming to the temple, these men pick the best women in that people who have come for darshan. So what they do, when these people come, they stay at certain rooms, they stay at certain hotels, and these people had their spies or had their friends and colleagues over their place to identify such women, and they used to pick up such women. They didn't care if they were with the family, they didn't care if they were with their friends. So they went, they picked up those ladies and sexually assaulted them. If the women remained silent and if the family members remained silent, they were given the freedom to go away from Dharmasthala without being subjected to molestation or any atrocities. But if they revolted against them, so the end process was death. They didn't care if there were 5 people, they didn't care if there were 4 people. They brutally murdered them and buried the bodies around this temple premises, not exactly near the temple, maybe just a kilometer, maybe just a 2 kilometer, sometimes near their guest house, sometimes near the parking lot, sometimes they threw the body in the river. So, and all these atrocities grew over a period. They also attacked the people who held a vast land in the temple premises. So they were attacked, their wives were attacked, their children were attacked, their women were killed, thrown into the wells, thrown into the rivers, buried somewhere. Some people were burned to death, and all these atrocities happened over a period of time. But then came 2012. I want you to remember this name, Saujanya Gowda. So this girl was also subjected to brutal attack by this man. She was a 17-year-old girl who finished college and was going home. What happened that day? He had a brother, right? So his brother's son and his friends are set to attack this girl, kidnap her, and take her into her farmhouse. So on that day, Saujanya's parents and all the people who were assembled there, they searched the entire forest to find Saujanya, but they couldn't find her anywhere. But next day morning, they saw her dead body at the place where they had searched before. But the whole system tried to cover this case. They said that the body was there since evening, which was not true, and the body had a lot of marks, and her private part they filled mud, and they pushed it inside her private part. So police did not take any DNA samples that were present on her body, nor her dress was checked properly, nor they couldn't find, that is what they said, there was no fingerprints, but they buried all this evidence clearly. But after this incident, people started to revolt against this godman. A lot of people from a lot of places, a lot of powerful people gathered around. And from 2012 till 2025, this fight kept on going. You might ask, why didn't the police act, or why didn't the judicial system act from 2012 to 2025? The reason is this man is very powerful. His asset is worth over 25 lakh crore, and he used to bribe each and every person who revolted against him to suppress the voice of the revolters. So be it the media, be it the policemen, be it the government servants, he used to send them lots of cash to end the issue there and there itself. But what happened? Once in the time of Jan or Feb 25, there was a YouTuber from Karnataka who posted on this issue, and this issue was this video was watched by over 1 crore people nearly all over the state of Karnataka and all over India. This created a strong rebel against this sort of system. And today, because of that Saujanya case, government has been subjected to a lot of pressure, and they have finally made a SIT, special investigation team, to inquire into this genocide of women at Dharmasthala. So what I want to bring to your attention is, you might have heard of Hitler, you might have heard of some other man who created atrocities against humanity. But this particular man created atrocities only against women, and this image has to remain in world history, because if there is war, men and both are subjected to hardships, death, fight and everything. But this is a structured genocide of over a period, using a god's name, using a temple. So this is what I want to bring to your notice, and I want to make you realize how people are in our system, and how they use the God himself to protect their demonic identity. So that was all for this video, and I would really appreciate if you take time to remember the name of Saujanya, the girl who is dead but still fighting for the injustice that happened to her and to all those hundreds and thousands of women.